Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Out at the range today with heavy metal. This one's going to be a fun one. A bunch of you guys have been asking for this video, so we're filming it today. Out at the range, I have brought my recently acquired, this thing's only been in a video or two so far, 220 Swift. This is a Remington 700 VSSF. It's got a long, if my memory's right, 26-inch barrel, fluted barrel, heavy barrel in 220 Swift. I've been looking for a 220 Swift for a long time. Shout out to Tollivers. Found me one. But, oh man, look at that. There's a tick. You guys see that? There's a tick on my scope rings right there. Man, not a fan of the ticks. That's crazy. But, just recently got this rail on here, got this scope on here. This is an Arkin EPL4. You guys that watch the show for any amount of time know I'm a big fan of Arkin optics. Whole lot of value for the money that you get. There's not better scopes for the value for the money that's out there. And we get 25% off everything Arkin with the code WHOTEEWHO, so that makes them even that much mo better. Arkin rings on here too. But I sighted this thing in the other day with this stuff, the Remington 50 grain PSP stuff, and it did pretty good. If my memory's right, pretty near every group I tested was under an inch. But if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But a big shout out and a big thank you to my buddy Joe. Joe hit me up and said, man, I saw you got that 220 Swift. I'm gonna send you some 220 Swift. And that's how we're able to make this video today. So check out all the ammo that Joe sent in that we're fixing to group test through this Remington 700. Check this out. Like I said, a big thanks to Joe for sending this stuff in. 220 Swift isn't exactly hard, or isn't exactly easy to find. So this, I put it here just for sake of comparison. This is what I sighted it in with right here. And Joe sent me some of this, which interestingly enough is the same SKU. That R22 OS1 is the same SKU as this. So I guess Remington now calls it high performance, and they used to call it express, but it's the same stuff. But like I said, I already group tested this stuff. I'll pop up some footage of that right here real quick. But you be the judge. I don't think this is evidence of a burnt out barrel. But you guys that know more than me about that stuff, put it in the comments down below, especially if you've had a 220 Swift. But I did that. And that was actually, that was with the hottest barrel, because I did this and this and this all without letting it cool. Then we did another cold barrel group and got a 0.58. Interestingly enough, the first group I did was the worst. Again, that's what I sighted it in with. But the rest of the stuff that we're checking out today is we got some 55 grain V-Max here, 50 grain PSP, some, what is this stuff, 50 grain Winchester Super X. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that stuff in a long time, and judging from the box, that's a little bit older, and that's super cool. And then this stuff I have never seen in my life, Norma 220 Swift, and I believe these are 50 grainers as well. Yeah, 50 grainers. So pretty cool. Now today I'm going to group test these four and see what group's best out of that Remington 700. One thing I got to show you guys real quick, if you haven't seen this, I'll triple check that it's empty. If you missed the other videos I have on this, look at this. Look at the trigger on this. Oh my. Lightest trigger I've ever felt in my life. I actually just got in a trigger gauge, so stay tuned. I'm going to have a video measuring this, but I guarantee you that's less than half a pound trigger, so definitely helps it get good groups. You guys already saw what it did with those bullets I sighted it in with. But comment down below, which one do you think is going to do the best out of these four that we're testing today? We got some 50 grainers and some 55 grainers. It's hard to know. Sometimes the cheapest stuff does the best. Sometimes the most expensive stuff does the best. You never know until you actually get out here like we're doing today and test them through your particular bullet slinger. But I don't know. I know it liked these from the other ones I tried, so it's kind of hard not to vote for these, but I kind of also want to vote Norma. So let's see what happens. Comment down below which one of these 4 is going to group the best. I'll meet you back there at 100 yards. The thing's already sighted in, so the point of impact ought to be pretty close to bullseye for all these. But see you back at 100. Also, before I forget to mention it, if you want to see the chronograph speeds of these, out here today I brought my chronograph. I'm going to do a separate video on it though. Chronograph speeds of these 220 Swifts. See if any of these boxes say what they should be going. So this V-Max right here, 55 grain, says 3680 feet per second. We might even beat that because this thing has a pretty good long barrel, but make sure you're subscribed, got those notifications on for the 220 chronograph speed test. But now I'll see you back at 100 yards. All right, here we go. Number 1 is the 50 grain Remingtons. It is crazy hot out today, so I'm gonna try to get this done and get myself and the cameras back in the shade. In this kind of heat, believe it or not, the camera's shut off. So here we go. I'm gonna just do it and quit the yapping, at least try to. Y'all know I like to yap sometimes, but here we go. Remington Express 50 grainers. Again, a big thanks to Joe helping us make this video. Come on, baby, feed for me. On the devil. Oh, I didn't load them in there very good, apparently. There it went. Oh my. That trigger surprises me every time. Every time. That trigger's almost too light. Those are up and down a bit, aren't they? Interesting. Next is going to be the V-Maxes. Let's load up some V-Maxes. We got this crazy Tennessee heat. And we also got some 220 Swift heat. Get me 3 of these V-Maxes. That seems a little louder than the Remington, but I could be wrong. You better not even think about this trigger unless you're ready to send one. Not too bad. None of them's going in the same hole yet though, are they? Now, those weren't too bad. There was 2 in the same hole. Norma's next. Norma is next. Now again, when I picked this thing up, everybody said, oh, that's a barrel burner. And I did get it secondhand. Everybody said, oh, that thing's gonna be throwing them all over the place. Well, so far it hasn't proven to be a barrel burner, and I'm gonna continue to take care of it and not send 50 of them at the same time and get it crazy hot. Let's see how these Normas do. These are 50 grain lead tips. It's like their point of impact is about the same for all these, high and right. To make that adjustment here when I'm done. Ooh, I might have made a good guess on those Normas. Yep, and that wasn't the best trigger squeeze either. That group is definitely going to win. Nice. And we got the Winchesters left. These Winchesters are a little bit hard to close on the bolt. Short story is though, this barrel's definitely not burnt out, and I love it. One of the most accurate bow lot slingers I got, probably. not so great there. So Norma's definitely one. I think everything's going to come in under an inch. Maybe that Winchester might have got a little wider, but let's go down there and measure those groups. I've got the calipers. All right, check it out. So, Remington 700 VSSF 220 Swift with the Arkin on it. Now, just from eyeballing it, I think it's going to be close between those Norma 50 grains and the V-Max 50 grain, but check this out. I brought my calipers out here and they picked a great time for the battery to die. So I'm gonna have to finish this video at the house when I get some good batteries in there, because I want to have these groups documented. All right, so excuse me, back at the house, the batteries were dead on my calipers, so back at the house to measure these groups, and check it out. Everything was not too shabby. Getting a glare off that light, aren't we? But those Remingtons, 50 grainers, 0.7 inch group at 100 yards. The Hornadies, that's 3, y'all, not 2. That's 3. Got a 0.35. 0.3, that's when I start to get real excited. The Norma's 1, y'all. That's 3 with a 0.31 inch group. And then which ones were these? I'm reading it backwards. Winchester 50 grainers. It's a 0.87. Which one was a 55? The Hornadies. So we got a great group with a 55 and a 0.3 and another 0.3 with a 50 grain Normas. Those Normas, shoo, that's pretty good. But really, at the end of the day, y'all, everything we tested today, 4 different factory loads in 220 Swift, under an inch. Now this is a pretty small sample. The best thing we could have done was flung the whole box out and spent the whole day out there letting things cool and, you know, do the whole box and then take the averages. But this sample is a pretty good representation that 220 Swift is pretty sweet. And when I picked it up, a bunch of people were concerned, oh, the barrel's probably burnt out of that thing. It's a 220 Swift. It's a fast round. I don't think the barrel's burned out, and I'm pretty impressed with it. Some of that has to do with the rig. It's a 26-inch heavy barrel. The whole package is pretty heavy, and the trigger is super, super light. I'm pretty sure on this first one with a Remington, I broke that trigger a little bit before I meant to. I was still on target and still ready, but normally I really super focused, take my time. I think just a split second I broke that trigger off too soon. So who knows? Maybe that was a 0.2. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. But I was getting 0.4 inch groups with a similar Remington. So all in all, even this one, I mean, maybe one of those was a bad squeeze on me. Who knows? Like I said, we could have got better data if we did the whole box, but that would be a long video and an expensive test. And hey, this solidifies for me that Remington 700 VSSF is pretty sweet. Again, a big thanks to my buddy Joe for hooking us up with some ammo so we could do this test. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you want to see next with the 220 Swift. Appreciate y'all big time. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't already, go over to WHOTEEWHO.com. Check it out. See what we got going on. We got shirts like this. Hootie-hoo. Bing bangs and boo-lots. We got hats like this. True Timber Camo Hootie-hoo hats. We got orange hats too for hunting season. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hootie-hoo.